Hey guys, welcome back to Man Time. Today, again, is in fact Man Time. I've got a neighbor with a windfall right in his front yard here, and I thought what better way to test out my new chainsaw than come over here and help a neighbor. So here we go. This is the definitive test of what is better, Stihl or Husqvarna, just like the title says. Everything is exactly the same. Everything is a perfect match. I am going to treat them both equally, and I will decide for all of us what is the better chainsaw to have. Not really. What is actually going to happen is I am going to pit Stihl versus Husqvarna. This is my trusted saw that I've used for the last 10 years. It is on its third piston, second jug. Husqvarna equipment. I've gone through every part piece to this saw and know everything about it. I've done the same thing with this Stihl saw. Gone through every part piece, and they are both completely fully serviced. I'm going to talk a little bit about the similarities, the differences, and then what's important to me here on Man Time. So let's bring you in a little bit closer and take a look at these saws and see what is the same about them, what's different, and what I look for in a chainsaw. Okay, gang, here's the similarities between the two saws. Both of them are a 49cc saw with a 44mm piston. That's basically where the similarities end. The Husqvarna has got 5/16 chain, 18-inch bar, narrower, little tiny dog compared to the Stihl, which has got the 20-inch bar, 3/8 chain, big dog. Not really that important to me. What else is different? Alright, the on-off switch on this one, it actually works. It's got the half throttle set, where this saw, the on-off doesn't work, and it doesn't have a throttle set. But if you pull the choke, it kind of sets it at half throttle. So, starting, the Husqvarna has always been very difficult to start. The Stihl is untested, so we'll look at those differences and similarities. I do like the gas and bar oil fillers on the Husqvarna better. The Stihl actually I've seen is kind of leaked as it's running out of the top of this little breather hole, and that may be something faulty with the Stihl. As you saw in the last video, the Stihl also has a problem with the chain not stopping as it's idling, and maybe that's a function of the clutch springs. If it pans out here, I'll probably go ahead and change those out. But there is a lot of things that I like about the Husqvarna. Of course, I've had it and ran it for, like I said, 10 years. I've probably cut 50 cords of firewood and however many trees that is to fall. We had a drought back in 2011, 2012, and we lost a bunch of trees. It was 100 degrees for 90 days straight here, and no rain. Had a lot of trees dying out, and this was my primary saw. I did have a secondary in a 455, but I used this one because it was lighter, quicker, easier to manage for all-day use. And I am looking to determine if this saw will replace the Husky as a more viable option for all-day use. So that's what we're looking at here. I like the Stihl saw in its kind of sleekness and design, the all-metal construction of it, and the weight on it is really similar to the Husqvarna, so I don't think the weight is going to play into it too much.
Oh, I can't believe you're trying to replace me. What is wrong with you? I've been your saw for the last 10 years, and now you're looking at a different saw? What the heck is wrong with you?
Man, I'm sorry. You know, you're hard to start. you've failed on me. You've burned up, 3 pistons and a jug, and I just don't know. I'm looking. We may have found a crossroads here, and I'm exploring my options. Hey, guy, I'll be a good saw for you. I won't burn up a piston or a jug, and I'll cut wood real good for you. Well, we'll see about that. If you show me something today, maybe we can work on that. I still can't believe that you want to try a new saw. Boy, I'm a good saw. Well, sometimes you don't start, and I have trouble starting you sometimes. Boy, you gotta want it. I'll make you work for it so I know you want it just as bad as I do. I'm out here working hard, and you need to show me something. Let's just settle down, everybody. Let's settle down. Nothing is decided yet. Nobody has made any decisions, all right? Right now, I like you both, right? My perfect chainsaw is a chainsaw that I can trust. So I know that I can trust you most of the time, with the exception of when you burn up a piston and a jug on me, or you don't start for me. It takes 20 times to start and it's 100 degrees and I just want to cut some wood. So I'm going to look to the new guy here. Can I trust you? Are you going to be a trustworthy saw for me? That is the real question. And this is going to be a war of attrition. I'm going to run you both from a full tank of gas to an empty tank of gas, and I'm going to cut as much of this tree up as I can before it gets too hot here, and you tell me, through your action of the wood cutting, what is going to be the better saw? Who can last the longest? Who can cut with ease? And who is going to make my day easier? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for trust. And both of these saws, I've taken apart and I've nut and bolted the whole thing. I've gone through both of them. I know every part of them. I can field strip them. I can do everything that I need to do in the field with both of these saws because I know them intimately, right? So that's important. They're equal in that regard. They're equal in the motor size. So now we'll see in the performance and the all-day use which one of them is going to be my new go-to saw to bring with me every day, which one is going to be easier for me to handle all day, and which one can I trust. Let's get started. So let's look this over. So, in all seriousness, this is kind of a dangerous tree to cut down because you've got a lot of the main parts of it here that have branched out. Some are in compression, some are in tension. Sometimes it's better to start with the little ones on the end here and work your way back. Sometimes it's better to start up by the main trunk and cut off these big pieces of it down by the main trunk, let those fall, and then you can work really quickly on the rest of it. It's a case-by-case basis. You have to look at each individual part of it and see where it's hanging, where it's laying, and then determine what it's going to do when it breaks, or when you finally make that last part of the cut. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, it's always a little bit stressful when you're trying to prep and prepare and determine where these things are going to go. Sometimes they don't go the way you want them. You have to prepare for that as well. So let's get after it. Start a saw up. All right, first up, the cold start with the Husqvarna. Compression off, choke on. Let's see here. Oh boy, you want to work today, don't you? Yeah. Okay, I shied away from the Stihl at first. Went with the trusty Husqvarna, and it has performed to its usual standard. Trusty, reliable, gets the job done. Got the bar stuck, pulled it out, cleaned the chips out, kept on running. No problems. But I keep hearing this, "Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach." So I'm going to start off with some of the smaller stuff with the Stihl, and we'll see how she does from a cold start. Half throttle, on, choke on. Good. 2. Husqvarna from a hot start. Husqvarna from a hot start. Choke on off, compression in. Every time. Why do you do this to me? Make yourself look bad. Alright, hot start with the Stihl. Still haven't got my cover plate. I'm getting a little concerned. It's getting a bunch of sawdust and stuff up around there. I don't know if I'm going to have to adjust the carb to compensate for that eventually. It's coming today. I just couldn't wait. I wanted to run the saw, and I wanted to see how it performs. So, yeah, that's why we're here. I'm going to turn up the oil on this one also, because this is some really dry wood, and seems to take quite a bit of oil on the chain to keep it going. Alright, start on, choke off. Nothing on the throttle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I don't like that. I thought you were going to perform for me today. What's going on? Alright, let's try half throttle. No trust. A little bit of choke maybe? Husky or Stihl. But it's a war of attrition, right? It's not about who can cut the fastest. It's about who's going to continually start for me, who's going to continually be reliable for me. Like I said, I've got 10 years on the Husky, and it has never let me down. So we will continue on. It may just need to be adjusted a little bit. Let's try that. Alright, back to the Husky. She was getting a little jealous, so we'll Alright, the coolness of the morning is gone. This is when it really counts. So who's going to be more reliable? Who can I trust? Who can I count on? Who's going to make the job easier for me? Let's try the Stihl. No jump cuts, straight to the Husqvarna. You gonna work for me? Oh, come on. Well, there you have it, man. It's definitive. I'm going with the Stihl. Going with the Stihl. It seems to have more power. It was able to run that 20-inch bar. It just seemed like the cuts were more manageable, especially for the bigger stuff. The Husky may have gone through a little bit quicker, but that 4-pull, 5-pull start, just no matter what, running hot, running cold. It actually started better cold this morning. I was just blown away. But, you know, for a 50-year-old antique chainsaw, it really got the job done. And they're about the same weight. I just think the Stihl is going to be better in the long run. I think at the end of the day, when it needs to perform, it's going to. Of course, the Husqvarna always did also, but it's really the starting issue is what it's coming down to for me. So there you have it, definitive. Go with the 50-year-old Stihl chainsaw, antique. That's it for man time. Get out there, have you some man time too. Get dirty, throw some chips on yourself, and do it for your neighbor. Why not help out a neighbor? Thanks for joining me, guys.